Throughout high school, I was a special ed teacher named Mrs. Taylor. I had a special ed class. She's very nice. What she does, she's very nice to me. She's a sweet lady. I liked Mr. McGee more because I knew Mrs. Taylor more, but I didn't. It just scared me that they both worked together. That's the thing. When Taylor was working with McGee, it just scared me. I thought myself that she got mad because I told her that she scared me, and she got mad about during when I was watching a movie. She said that, why are you scared of watching Hocus Pocus? I just got scared because her and McGee are always working together. I thought that it was better when she was working alone and stuff. She didn't got mad at me. I was learning, mainly I was in the special ed room. I learned different stuff like math. I was in Read 180. I did chorus class and stuff. I did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of reading and stuff in Read 180. It was okay, but in Read 180, one thing I questioned was there was always assigned seating. One of these teachers named Mrs. O'Neill, she was okay to me, but she was just a little bit mad. When I sat and she said, "Excuse me, Josh, it's not your seat." I remember when I was in high school, I was watching a music and I was talking to one of the parents, Mrs. Huck, and she told me to be quiet in the musical. We did a system. We basically picked a book on our Lexile. I picked a book. We picked a book, then we had to write about it in our journal, like each week. We picked a book, and then you wrote it on the log, and then somebody would help you and stuff. There was always like Mrs. Mahalik. She would help support the kids and stuff. And then what we did was eventually we were deciding on, in high school, we did something called, so we made something called, we were like doing something. We were making ice cream, and we decided we were going to do something, and Mrs. Taylor decided on, we picked the names. We picked Taylor's Tasty Treats, like Hyde's, Sweet Dip, Tasty Treats. And we made it with a KitchenAid, and we decided at the end of the day, not the end of the day, but in class, we decided that we would pick a name, Taylor's Tasty Treats, and we would sell it, and we built the cart. And we decided that we would make ice cream and fund it, and we decided that we spoke in school, like how we would make the profit, how would we do it? Sell it by the gallon or sell it by the cone? We decided that how would we make Mrs. Taylor's Tasty Treats run, because Mr. McGee wanted everybody, like all the special ed kids, hands-on, but I thought to myself, why would they want them to do that? Because cutting wood, that's not something that special ed kids could do. But at the end, we decided on a name, Taylor's Tasty Treats, and we made a business. I liked going to the pep rallies. I liked going to chorus class. I liked being in all three musicals. I liked being in the fashion shows. I liked going to the coffee house. I liked doing all the events, and I liked doing everything there. I usually interacted with the regular kids more than the kids with special needs, but some of them had trouble talking. Like one of these girls named Raven, she couldn't talk. It's kind of hard. One of these kids named Trent, couldn't talk. It's kind of hard to interact with the special ed kids because they get very violent and aggressive. Sometimes it's hard to talk to the special ed kids. I felt very good when I was doing the musical because I was on the stage. I was learning from Mrs. Spring. I was learning everything I can. I was doing everything. We did choreography. I think I was learning a little bit more when I was doing everything, when I was in the musical, because it's more, not intense, but when you audition, you find out when you get it. I think it's more like production, because you're with a group of students, you could, it's better, when you're with a group of kids. The choreography was kind of hard because you did it in rehearsal. Sometimes during the daytime, for Shrek, we had to learn how to hold the swords, for Guys and Dolls. It was kind of tricky because you had to do different stuff. It was kind of tricky, but over the course, we learned, not the course, but over high school, we did learn it, and in the end, we put it all together, and we had to perform it in front of the whole auditorium. I think those are very fun, the pep rallies. I think they were very fun. I felt very included. I just felt a little bit sad when we left early. I wanted to stay longer. I was just very shocked when I was in high school because my mother, when Edna went to the meeting, she spoke to Mrs. Fergal, and my mom was kind of shocked because when we were there, I did an SRI test and she was shocked. She said, "Excuse me," she said, that why is my son's Lexile going down when it should be bumping up? And she said, "Excuse me, that's not fair, guys. If my son's Lexile is going down, why is it going down?" She really wanted me to stay in high school, and my dad said that I thought I wasn't benefiting, and I think I was benefiting because I had friends, and I had people there, I had friends, I thought I was benefiting, but she thought I could have stayed 2 years. She was having a big conversation with my dad. They were like, arguing and stuff, and it was kind of. I wanted to stay 2 years, but he thought I was ready to leave. I did learn a lot when I was in Rito 80. I feel like that I did benefit. I feel like I did benefit. I feel like I did benefit throughout high school. I did do a lot of stuff. I learned how to go on the center bus. I was doing like mail and shredding. I was like scanning books. I was doing a lot of things. I felt like I was benefiting throughout high school. If I stayed there longer, I could have benefited more, and I could have been there. If I stayed longer, I would have benefited more because I would have had more of my high school friends. I would have, because everybody misses me out there. I would have benefited if I stayed until 21, but I didn't realize that I should have said I was 18. I really wanted to graduate at 21, but I could have stayed longer because I knew that high school I was benefiting from it. I could have stayed a little bit longer and be in the musicals. I could have stayed till I'm 21, then got my diploma and went up to college, but apparently I did graduate. I could have extended it longer, but that was the case. That my parents' choice for me to graduate. It could have went longer. I could have stayed till 21, but I wanted to go because I felt like I was benefiting, but I felt like I wasn't learning. They felt like my parents weren't learning a lot, but I felt like I was learning a lot. I felt like I was benefiting throughout high school. I was benefiting all those years. I've been doing like a lot of classes and stuff. I've been doing a lot of classes and stuff. I go to Syracuse Stage. I win vouchers for the shows and stuff. I take a lot of classes and stuff. I did a yoga class now, but I'm taking drama. I do like a lot of classes and stuff. I win vouchers for the shows, and I have to write a review on it and stuff. It's kind of hard, but it's worthwhile. High school classes were different because they were more matriculated. They were with more like the typical kids. They were more like the typical kids. And it's the same thing there, but I think it was nicer when it was in high school because we learned different stuff like chorus class. We learned music, and then we put on a concert up in the Shine Center, but it's different. I would like to learn how to use like a credit card. I'd like to eventually, maybe I'd like to go one step up. I'd like to learn how to drive because I know my brother drives. I'd like to learn how to drive. I read the book, but it just gave me a headache. In the future, maybe I'd like to learn how to drive. I would just have to do it step by step, not baby steps, but I just have to do it like step by step. I could do driving, but I would have to be focused because I talk a lot. I could drive, but one of my parents would have to teach me how to do it. I could drive in the future if I build up to it. I could drive my parents to work. I could drive my brother to school. My brother could do that. I could do that, but I would have to wait, until I take the test and get a license for now. I would like to do more like maybe like Uber and stuff. Maybe like to use like a credit card. I'd like to like learn how to use like a credit card. Like learn how to put my own money onto like my ID card. Like for them doing it, maybe I could do that. Maybe that's a goal I could do.